Good afternoon, North Carolina Vinyl Picker here on a Tuesday with my third installment. We're going to go from 101 to 151, and we're still in the B's, and the big box has arrived at undisclosed place. I'm sure that person will be doing a special show tonight, unboxing the big boxes. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in for my going through my record collection, going through A to Z, and we've already done 2 episodes. This is episode number 3, and we're on the B's, and we're starting with the Bee Gees, and it's going to be pretty much the 50 album is going to be at least 50% of them is going to be Bee Gees. So if you're into the Bee Gees, here we go. You ready to go? Let's get going here. I don't have anything new to show. I'm not buying really too much out in town. I've been buying a couple of eBay, and when I get them in, I'll show them. But just looking for, I got about 50, maybe 50 albums on my list that I want to get, and so when I get them in, that's when I'll show them to y'all. But we're going to start with this one right here, and this is Bee Gees First. It's got a little bit of a water damage down here, but the vinyl plays just fine. Sometimes it's not the cover, it's important, it's the record. But have a nice cover would be nice too. I'll be on the hunt for a new one of these, then I can replace that one. Oh, we got here. Oh, imagine that, more Bee Gees. How about some horizontal? Tuco said he had a big Bee Gees collection. We'll see how big his collection is. It probably outshines mine. I'm not going to show my 45s today. I'm just going to be showing my LPs. But here is horizontal. All these early Bee Gees are fantastic albums. Idea. I had 2 copies of this, so I checked them out, and one of them went to the other room. This one here is Best of the Bee Gees, and this is going to be most of their older songs. Holiday, I Started a Joke, Spicks and Specks. How about 2 Years On? Another great Bee Gees album. Odessa, the one with the red felt. I checked it out yesterday, and I bought that at a record show in Charlotte. And as I was checking them all, you know, I'm going through and I'm checking them all. Every time I get one, in my 50, I'm going through them, making sure that they got any paper liners in there. If they're destroyed, I'm saving the good ones for to put on records in the other room, and then ones that are bad, I'm throwing out. But Odessa had 2 copies of the first album. It's a double album. So that had to go. So that's in the other room, and that will go into my $3 box probably when I go ahead and do the flea market thing in the fall. So I'm just going through it now. I'm setting it all up that way there, August, September time frame. I mean, it's cool out here in the Carolinas. I can go out and sell some of these records. Use that money to get some grails that I want. How about Trafalgar? I sent the Happy Hippie a copy of this. I had 2 copies, and I sent him a copy a few months back. I kept my promo. That's the one I wanted, and it's a white label promo of Trafalgar. Great album. How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? First song on side A. That's a good one to have. Then we got Cucumber Castle. Yeah, this is the album that Robin was not on. He had left the band, did some solo stuff, and then he came back later into the fold. But Robin Gibb is not on this album. It's just the 2 brothers. It's a great album. I had this album when I was a kid. It was like one of my first 10 albums I ever owned. How about To Whom It May Concern? How about some live Bee Gees? This has got Run to Me on it. A bunch of other great songs they did. We're getting into the disco here. For you out there that love your Bee Gees disco. How about Bee Gees in the Can? This one's got the die cut on here and you turn it and stuff. This one here is Main Course. Now we're starting to get into the disco era Bee Gees. Nights on Broadway, Jive Talkin'. Yeah. You like the early Bee Gees or the later Bee Gees? Which ones do you like? Make a comment down below for me. Let me know which one you prefer. The early young Bee Gees or the disco version Bee Gees? How about Children of the World? More Bee Gees. Just when you thought you couldn't get enough Bee Gees, I'm going to show more Bee Gees. This all three brothers are back together. I don't have all their albums, but I got a majority of them. How about another live album? No more live Bee Gees. Can't get enough of them. How about this one here? I got a couple of. This is from the Australian sessions because they were originally from Australia, and then they had moved to the U.S. when they were older. This one here's got Spicks and Specks on it. These were printed in the U.S. I might as well show them both. And these are like promo Bee Gees. These are albums that were done by a different label and showcasing some of their. These don't want to stay up today. For some reason. Yeah. So these are pretty cool. Tuco, you got these? See if Tuco's got those. When he's looking forward to this. I've had a lot of good response on me showing my records. So I appreciate that. And gives me something to do every day. Being retired, I get to go through 50 records a day in my collection and go through them. It takes me about an hour or so. And I'm able to clean them all up, get them ready for the next day, for the next show. And then when I get done here, then hopefully I'll have maybe I've pulled maybe 100 or 200 records. We'll see how many I pull. I'm setting them aside in a separate box. How about Living Eyes, Bee Gees? How about ESP Bee Gees? This one here is a promo. It says, got the hit song, You Win Again. Now we're getting into the late 80s when Bee Gees, this is 87, so when a lot of the Bee Gees records, they were going to CD. And these later albums are harder to find on vinyl. But I try to hunt them down. Okay, now we're going to go jazz. We're going to go Bill Connors of Mist and Melting. There are some people, you know, that they love Bill Connors. He's on the ECM label. But not on this one. This one here, he's on Pathfinder Records. Bill Connors, Jazz Fusion. Love me some Bill Connors. I don't have all his records, but I got a couple of them here. How about Double Up? Bill Connors, more Jazz Fusion. Here's another Bill Connors album, Assembler. Some of you out there that listen to Jazz Fusion will know these records. These are all 80s releases. I was listening to a lot of fusion jazz in the 80s because I wasn't into the techno pop and all that stuff that the 80s had to offer, except for I was listening to Kate Bush, Peter Gabriel, and Genesis, and Yes. Even though they had that 80s sound, I was still bringing them from the 70s up through the 80s and listening to them. But 80s is when I really got into jazz fusion because I really wasn't interested in the 80s music. Bill Evans, I have an extra copy of this. This is a great album. This is the Bill Evans that's not a keyboard player. This Bill Evans is a sax player. He's just incredible. I was fortunate enough to find this record, and then I was fortunate enough to find another copy of this record. So that record's gone in the bin, and whoever gets that record's going to be going to love this album. But Living on the Crest of a Wave, great album. Bill Evans. the other Bill Evans. How about Billy Cobham? Here's Spectrum. Gotta have Spectrum. That's my favorite Billy Cobham album. And yeah, you gotta love this album. Leland Sklar's, Lee Sklar's on there. Tommy Bolin is on here. Tommy Bolin just lets loose. And this album here, I was fortunate enough to find this for cheap. I think I got it less than $5. And I felt the weight of this thing, and it's like, man, this sucker's heavy. Then I looked it up, and it ended up being like 180 gram reissue or something. So yeah, I was really happy to get this. This is like my favorite Billy Cobham album. And Billy Cobham's a jazz drummer. You'll see a lot going through my all my records every night. You're gonna see a lot of jazz, a lot of fusion jazz. Crosswinds. This is the album after Spectrum. Tommy Bolin's not on this record. I have both of Tommy Bolin's solo albums, and you'll see those later on in about a week or so, maybe. But I'm not real crazy about those. But man, he lets loose on Spectrum. How about Billy Cobham Total Eclipse? How about Inner Conflicts? Just recently found this one for a couple dollars. Billy Cobham. How about the best of Billy Cobham? I found this one in a little small antique mall over in Rutherfordton in North Carolina. Went through the whole place, found one record. I think I paid $2 for it, but I was glad to have it. It's in really good shape. You're listening to Pierre Moreland. Rare original pressing of Family Productions label. How about Cold Spring Harbor? First Billy Joel album. This was after Attila, because Attila was a band he was in. That album's hard to find, just like Shiloh's hard to find. Don Henley's band he was in. But this album here is pretty much his first solo effort, Cold Spring Harbor, and she's got a ways on here, and there's some great songs on this album. I was able to find this copy in a little record store at the beach in Florida before we left. The Stranger, everybody knows this album. This is another great album. I saw Billy Joel, I think it was right after that. I think I'm like on the 52nd Street tour when I saw him live in Maryland. Songs in the Attic, Billy Joel. This is what he does a lot of his live stuff on here. Miami 2017, Summer Highland Falls, She's Got Away, Everybody Loves You Now. Great stuff. Let me do a little housekeeping there. Okay. How about some Borelli Lagreen? Who's Borelli Lagreen? Well, he's a guitar player. He's French. And he's awesome. So this album here is called 15. And this is what Borelli Lagreen was doing when he was 15. Playing guitar, like a madman. He's awesome. Another person you probably don't know, but give him a listen. Borelli Lagreen again. Here he is. There's a picture of him. This album's called Foreign Affairs, and this album came out in '86. So again, a lot of these records are going to go back to the '80s. All these fusion groups. A lot of the fusion bands started in mid to late '70s and then carried into the '80s. How about Black Sabbath? Everybody knows this album. This is a 180 Warner Brothers Records release, 180 gram. Heavy. It's a heavy record. Everybody loves them some Black Sabbath out there. I have a few of their albums. I have Paranoid. I have a copy of Paranoid on the tree with the palm trees there. Warner Brothers. This is my last of my Black Sabbath Masters of Reality. And that's all I have for Black Sabbath. I'm not a huge metal person. Or was Black Sabbath the first metal band? make a comment down the bottom. Let me know if you think that Black Sabbath was the first metal band. Excuse me, I don't get a sip. We're over halfway, 15 minutes in. See if we can get this done. How about some Blind Faith? Listen to this last night. There's another offensive cover that they sell. It was the original cover, I think UK cover. I don't own that one. I have this one. So, yeah, we'll show this one here. Listen to this. What a great album that is. I had 2 copies of that on CD. I gave one away to somebody. I still have a copy here on CD. How about some, we're still in the Bees, ladies and gentlemen. How about some Blood, Sweat, and Tears? Everybody out there at a certain age will know David Clayton Thomas's vocals were just awesome. I don't have the very first Blood, Sweat, and Tears album. That's with Al Cooper, I believe. But I've never even heard that album. But this album here is the first album with David Clayton Thomas, I believe. The lead singer for the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And yeah, they kind of remind me of Chicago a little bit. Here's Blood, Sweat, and Tears number 3. And there's David Clayton on the end there. He was a big man. Oh, I wanted to show this. So that's why I stuck it on the back here, Art. Okay, so look at this here. This was the insert that was in here for the Blood, Sweat, and Tears 3 album. Man, that is just too cool. You got... These are posters that you could buy back in the day. I ought to send this in and see if I can get one. They got Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You got the Santana poster over there. The Bob Dylan poster, that iconic Dylan poster. Johnny Cash, Redbone, Pacific Gas and Electric, Al Cooper, who was in Blood, Sweat, and Tears and left after the first album, I guess. Johnny Winter, Chambers Brothers, Donovan, Sly and the Stone, Taj Mahal, It's a Beautiful Day. Mazzy will know almost all these groups. Beatles, I know Mazzy knows the Beatles. Raiders, Moondog, the Byrds, Argent, and the band called Catfish. And you could also get, look here, you could also get these puzzles. Wow. Donovan puzzle, Sly and the Family Stone, Stan puzzle, San Quentin, Johnny Cash puzzle. So where do you go? You think I ought to send this in or don't send it in? Last time I sent in a coupon, I came back. They couldn't find the address. It was in Burbank somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe I probably won't send it in again. I sent $1 last time for the postage, and they sent me my $1 back even. Imagine that. How about Blue Oyster Cult? We're still in the Bees. We're going to be in the Bees. Oh, looks like for another day at least. Blue Oyster Cult. This album is called, what is this album called? I think this is their self-titled album. Yeah, sure is. You can tell I'm a big Blue Oyster Cult fan. I liked a lot of their early stuff, kind of like Deep Purple. I like their early stuff. I had Machine Head, but that'll be later on when we get to the D's. Agents of Fortune. This had their big hit on here, Don't Fear the Reaper. And we got over here, we got Spectres. It's got Godzilla on it. Why they always put the #1 song or the best song of that they got to offer on the first song on side A? They try to bring you in. We got Bob Dylan, Desire. This is my only Bob Dylan album. I'd like to get the one with, this one does have Hurricane on it. Blood on the Tracks, that's the album I'm looking for. I'd like to get that. I like that era of Dylan. This album, I like Blood on the Tracks, and that might be it for me. Oh, and also I like the stuff he did with the band. So that mid-70s Dylan is the ones I like. We got a few records left. You only got, 6 left? Wow. How about some David Sanborn? We're going to jump into David Sanborn here with this one here, an album he did with Bob James. So this is under the B.O.B. We're into the Bobs here. We just did Dylan. Now we're doing Bob James with David Sanborn. Double Vision. Great jazz album. Glad to have that in my collection. I need to give that a listen. How about some Bob Seger? I had another copy of this. I think it's in the other room. Then I found this original master recording, and that trumped it. So we got the Night Moves on original master. Sounds incredible. Sounds like a little bit of thunder outside. And the thunder rolls. How about Bob Welsh? We're into Bob. We're talking about Bobs. We're talking about Bobs all day. Bob, 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 Bob. All kinds of Bobs. How about some Bob Welsh? Bob Welsh is familiar for being in that Fleetwood Mac group. Lindsey Buckingham and all them people. Andrew Gold and on and on and on. And all those people that J.D. Southern and the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt and Jackson Brown and Fleetwood Mac and I don't know, give me some more Poco probably. New Riders of the Purple Sage. Gotta love you some gotta love you some Bob Welsh. I'm just gonna pull these out here so I can show them. There's some more Bob Welsh. He was in Fleetwood Mac for a couple records, and then he decided, well, I'm just gonna do some solo stuff. There's another one by Bob Welsh, and actually the album's called The Other One. Don't really know this record, haven't played it yet. Sometimes I pick them up for a couple dollars in a thrift store, then I just file them away. But now I'm actually getting a look through everything. How about some Bobby Gentry? We went Bob's, now we're doing Bobby. Hear the thunder out there? They come down off the mountains and come into the Piedmont area here, the foothills of North Carolina, and they come through here and they roll through the storms. Ode to Billy Joe. I heard that was a movie with Robbie Benson. I've never seen the movie. My wife's seen it. She said she's seen the movie. How about local gentry? Yep, I like me a little country. Just certain, you'll see certain artists in my discography of what I have here. But I'm a completist. Once I get, like Bobby Gentry, she got 7 albums. I want all 7 of them. If I like one, I pretty much like them all. The one I'm looking for is Patchwork. I think that's the one that she's got this, like this Dolly Parton dress, like coat of many colors, but she's got one that's patchwork, and it's all real pretty. How about Glenn Campbell and Bobby Gentry? This is a good album. And that's the end. That's going to be the final one for today, and I did it in 23 minutes. That's pretty good. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show for today. This is part 3. The big box has already landed. That's going to be the final big box for the summer. I'm going to be doing a contest here when it gets closer for a push, a push to 400 bush, you know, like that man from Florida says, push. We're going to do a push to 400. When and if we get close to that, it'll be sometime between now and probably Labor Day. Everybody be safe out there. It's getting a little bit crazy, and respect everybody. Everybody's got a neighbor, so love your neighbor because everybody's neighbors. That's what Elliot says, and sending out prayers for him. Hope he recovers, gets well. Hope he's watching my videos. Support the troops. God bless our troops. And y'all have the rest of your evening and enjoy the week. And then we got the weekend coming up here. Before you know it, it'll be here. So take care, everybody. We'll be talking to you soon. And we'll see you tomorrow night with part 4 of my records. And we'll go from what we're going to go tomorrow. We'll go from 151 to 200. Tomorrow, we're still in the B's. Maybe we'll crack the C's. We'll see how close we get. So y'all be good out there, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye.